Welcome to the One More Thing podcast. I'm Kwesi.
And I'm Adam.
And we can't wait to get started.
I want to start off with a couple things that's not quite Apple, but I think we can both find passion about. Have you heard of this thing called the Minecraft movie?
And I think everyone's heard of the Minecraft movie.
Have you seen it yet, Kwesi?
So here's the thing. I was supposed to go see it last Friday, right?
Supposed to.
Yes, but I got caught up doing some other things for my sport, and I was not able to go see it with my friends.
Just when you think you know somebody. Okay, well, I did see it, and I don't want to spoil anything for you since you've not seen it, but I will talk about some things that it's pretty public without watching it.
Okay.
Firstly, I am a massive fan of Minecraft. I'm not sure if you are, but I'm very much a huge fan of that. But regardless of that's not the point. The point is this. The movie was, I think, fantastic. And there is so many people that are criticizing this movie and it's making you mad. Is it the best movie ever? No, it's not. Okay, I'll let you know that right now. Okay. But what I'll tell you is this. It is visually incredible. What they did for set design alone makes me excited. They took glass square boxes and made the trees and the leaves and set design a bunch of variants of things that you see in the movie. And that was done incredibly well. The set designers need to get like 4 pizzas for that movie at least because it was so good. It was just amazing. And I'll tell you this much. Besides that, the story could have had some better storyline behind it. Could have given us some backstory of Steve. I understand there's things that could have done better. But overall, it was entertaining. It was funny. It was a good mix of just some Easter eggs that you see in the movie and some other things. There's one part that doesn't give anything away in a village where if you look at this, there's a picture online. There's a stair that goes from flat to up, right? And then the next one up in the roof goes flat to down, which is the exact way you have to do it in the Minecraft game to make it look like an actual roof.
Right.
That's detailed. What? Who does that? Who does it in a game movie? Right? And they did one thing that was a great tribute to Technoblade.
Oh, I did see the Technoblade tribute.
I mean, it almost made me cry because a wonderful player that he was, right? But what I'll say about the whole movie is it's worth a watch. Go see it. Don't listen to anybody that's giving it bad raps. Trust me, it's worth a watch.
I will go see it.
You should have watched it.
I'll go tonight.
Top priority, okay? If you got football, whatever, cancel.
Cancel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just say my eyes broke. Whatever you guys say, it's worth watching. Trust me.
Okay. Now, back in 2007, Steve Jobs, this is a horrible transition, by the way, but Steve Jobs came out with arguably my favorite product ever. He walked on the stage. He said, once in a while, there comes a revolutionary product. And then he revealed an iPod, internet communicator, and a phone. Coming up on this next year, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of the iPhone.
20 years. And I've been a part of every one of those 20 years.
You got the first one?
I did not get the very first one. I'm just talking about like I was alive and...
Oh, okay.
And it makes me so happy to see that we're at 20 years. My first iPhone was the iPhone 4S. What about you?
So that's actually the first iPhone I've ever held because my parents both had the iPhone 4S. But my first iPhone personally, I think was the iPhone SE 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
First iPhone, but still.
But I had an iPod for like the longest, like an iPod Touch. So.
The iPod Touch was for sure the gateway into Apple for me.
No, definitely.
When that came out, I had the iPod click wheel. You remember that thing?
Yeah.
I remember having Sonic on the color click wheel. And when I downloaded that game, it crashed the whole device and Apple wouldn't fix anything. So it wasn't a good first experience. Let me tell you that. I will tell you this though. For sure, the iPod Touch, when that came out, changed everything. Coffee tastes better, Kwesi, when I had that device, okay? It was just awesome. I loved it. And back then, trust me, I can make 32 gigs work. Today, that is not possible. Back then, it was really possible. And I had Kwesi. You ready for this?
Yeah.
8,000 songs on my iPod Touch.
Well, that's absolutely nothing, Adam.
I'm aware.
About my mom, man. At least 10,500 songs. I don't know how she did it, but my mom had just about every song I could think of on her iPod. And you know what's crazy, Adam? She still has it to this day. She doesn't use it as much anymore, but like we have this little thing, this little like dock for it, and it kind of sits on her.
Is it an iHome?
Yeah, it's an iHome.
What a good guess.
And it just sits on the iHome, and sometimes she'll play music from it. And to be honest with you, the quality is surprisingly good.
Oh, like, yeah.
For 2026, or sorry, we're not in 2026. For 2025, it's not disappointing, which just goes to show the, I want to say the longevity of Apple products. But here's the thing. On the 10th anniversary of the iPhone back in 2017, Apple gave us a major redesign with the iPhone 10. And
the X.
You know, it was controversial. Oh, yes, the iPhone X. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that X and 10 are the same thing, but
oh, you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that we're getting any new design for this new iPhone? I think it's going to be the 19, or they can skip to 20, like how they skipped 10 with the how they skipped 9 with the X.
So there's one big difference between that series iPhone and this up and coming. They lose one person that made that so good.
Johnny Ive.
He's not there, but there are speculation, not confirmed anything, that he might be helping on that redesign. Because he's still a paid contractor from Apple.
I think he has his own like firm.
Yes, he does.
Cool.
I would hope they bring him back for this, because when he started talking, Kwesi, you could have walked into a Hitch and still been happy when he was talking and opening product design for Apple. Oh,
no, definitely.
Your house.
Like the older days of Apple with him and Steve Jobs, their visions, just the way they mesh so perfectly. I don't think there was that was the golden age of Apple.
Your house could have been on fire and it wouldn't have mattered, because when Johnny I was talking, it was soothing. And it didn't matter if it was a fork, you would have bought it. I mean, he just had that. He was the exceptional marketer that he was, and he still is. But beyond all that, right, I do not know if we're going to get like a physical body design or a camera design or something that's going to make it look drastic, right? It could be a design change for what they're going to use for material, which they're going to probably use aluminum, my guess is. Here's the thing. We have no leaked images at all about what it's going to look like. We have a 17 Air image kind of floating around. Maybe it's like that. I don't know. But here's what I'm trying to get at. I want to see some leaks of this, because if they're going to do that, by now, there should have been a render. Have you seen anything?
I have not. And, Mark Gurman is my guy. Even he hasn't given me any information on it yet, so we're kind of in the dark.
Just tells me that they're probably in the planning phase right now, and there's no CADs officially done. I mean, they have a year, right? But by now they usually have that completed, but we'll see how it goes.
I think they have 2 years.
It is 2 years. That is correct. I'll use math correctly next time. But regardless, I think that if there's going to be a redesign and going to be a 20th anniversary choice to do it on, it's the iPhone. That is the product that got Apple launched more than anything else. Max was a star, but the iPhone changed everything. When he announced a music player, what was the 3 things you said earlier?
An iPod, an internet communicator, and a cell phone.
And people thought when he said that, it was 3 devices. Oh no, it was 1. And when he said that, it was like the Super Bowl kind of cheering. It was just, people were losing their minds, and for good reason, right? So I remember just going back and watching that event, and the excitement that I had, even for back then, was just revolutionary, because it changed everything. Now, there was devices like this in the industry, but not just like this.
Right.
There's pieces of other ideas that got put into one, and it changed everything. There wasn't a need to have, a pager, a phone, and then like a BlackBerry that kind of did something, but not really with these rice buttons. It was now a device with touchscreen capabilities and just phenomenal everything. Besides that, I mean, yes, it was slow. The network wasn't the best because it was AT&T. Yeah. But regardless of all that, it was a device that changed everything and really modernized the smartphone into what people were going to have for devices. People were going crazy about the Razr 2 years earlier, right? And then that just kind of phased out, and then iPhone was it. And that was a time there wasn't Android versus, Apple. It was everybody wanted an iPhone. Remember that?
Yeah, and a lot of CEOs, like I think it was Microsoft CEO, they didn't believe in the iPhone. People thought it was a gimmick. But hindsight is 2020, and we can see that maybe some people should have maybe some companies should have hopped on that train earlier, because we don't really if it was me and I was executive at the time, maybe I'm looking at this product, I don't like it, but I'm still gonna get my R&D team to draw up something like that.
Oh yeah, and so many people thought it was gonna be a flop, right? And it's scary because at that time that wasn't a normal thing. Right? Who did that? Nobody. No one was ballsy enough to do that. But once you see the market share quickly adjust to that, no one started talking crap about that like they used to. Steve Ballmer thought that the Windows Phone was going to be successful. Great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea, right? We can all agree with that. But execution was
horrible.
Oh, I'd rather just walk into a horse, man. It was just so bad.
It wasn't even the phone itself. It was the operating system for the phone.
When developers weren't on board with making apps for it because there were restrictions. Yeah.
It wasn't the best phone. But how did you feel about the BlackBerry when it was still around?
So the idea of the BlackBerry was nice. I mean, it had a lot of features, if you can recall. The thing I could not stand about the most was the rice buttons. I really thought they sent you a packet of rice that was color black with some letters to replace the buttons if need be. It was so hard to type on that. I mean, seriously, you had to have Keebler elf hands to even use it. But other than that, I mean, the little scroll bowling ball kind of thing in the middle of it was kind of nice. It worked very nice, and the click of that was great. But typing on it, it was a challenge. It took me longer. I felt like an 80-year-old person typing on a keyboard. I shouldn't have to feel like that. And they modernized it, right? They made it so it was easier to see and to type, but they didn't push innovation good enough. It was like Toys R Us before it shut down. They're coming back, by the way. It's not the point. The point is this: the BlackBerry had an opportunity to capture that market, and they just didn't innovate well enough, right? And that it was their downfall, I think. Hindsight. I mean, they're kind of still around if you didn't know that, but
I thought they changed their product.
Well, they did, and I heard at one point they shut down, but they're kind of in a subpar market, kind of there somehow, but not like they used to be. I mean, they're barely hanging on if they're still there. Let's put it that way.
Okay,
and it's their fault.
It is their fault. Speaking of things that aren't people's fault now, let's switch to Apple. And, there's a lot going on in America right now. We're not going to pick a side here today, Adam. That's not what we're here for. But the tariffs, regardless of whether you like them or not, they're going to increase prices on everything.
Yes.
The tariffs are on China. They're on dang near every country. But the most important ones are Taiwan, China, and I can't remember the last one, but Apple gets a lot of their stuff from out of the country. TSMC manufactures, I want to say 90% of chips in smartphones.
Oh yeah.
And where does that leave us in terms of price for these upcoming iPhones?
So with this discussion, it becomes a very it's hard sometimes to talk about this, right? Because people are having so many different opinions about this. But here's what some facts are, right? Let's look at the iPhone 16 with 256 gigs of storage. Okay, now I'll just mention some of the prices that Apple will be paying and the before and after tariff prices, okay? So just for display, they're paying $37.97. This is rough estimates, right? A18 Pro chip, $90.85. Storage, $20.59. So the pre-tariff total for like that plus other stuff, it's $549.73. Post-tariff, $580. So what is that in price difference, Kwesi?
Like $30?
$30. Now, that is Apple costs. Let's make that very clear. That's not consumer cost. Okay. So the projected price difference that we're going to see probably in iPhones is my estimation $100 to maybe $200 difference, right? Because you got to put the Apple tax on if you do some tariffs, right? You got to do that. They're going to do that for sure. Now, here's the thing we have to understand. That's just what we're estimating now. But Apple has officially mentioned what they're going to do to offset this for consumer prices. This is where it gets crazy.
Okay.
Is your seatbelt on? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit me.
So the first thing is this. They're going to really push their supply chain to lower costs of goods. And you're thinking, okay, that's just what they're going to do to make some adjustments of money. They're going to make some cheaper costs for them. But here's the thing about that. That's just one part of it. They have officially announced they're going to reduce their overall margins on these phones to save us money. I'm not sure what that percentage is.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Did you just say Apple is going to reduce their margins to help the consumer save money?
Yes.
That can't be true.
It is. It's very true. Do you know what their margins are now for an iPhone?
No.
Let me tell you, Kwesi, okay? Now, their margins are right now 45%.
Okay.
Which is pretty high, would you say? With those margins, they can afford to reduce it, let's just say 5-10%. Yes, they're going to be losing some money, but if they're going to be making an average of like, let's just say $400 to $500 per phone, if they reduce it a couple $100 because now you're more enticed to buy because different prices, that's going to be more volume of sales rather than more money per product. It's the Walmart philosophy, right? We're going to reduce costs a little bit to make sure that you buy a lot of our product.
Right.
So their hopes are that when they do stuff like this, they're going to have more volume of sales and to make up for what they're not going to make per product. Now, as you know, there's a lot of variations of iPhones coming out. So if the price point for the Pro models is too much, base model is going to be good for you, right? Or the E that came out. But they're going to also continue to diversify locations they're going to manufacture, right? They invested how many billions of dollars into Texas. Now, you know, that's not ready yet, right?
Right.
And I know that just having phones made there is going to increase the price because of our cost of labor, right? But in general, if they're going to try going like to India, for instance, right, which will still be a tariff country, the prices to make it is still pretty affordable there. And it's a little closer than it is China to ship it. The routes for shipping supposedly is cheaper. It's just what I've heard. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I don't know. But if they're going to reduce costs of an iPhone to make sure that our prices overall is not drastically expensive, I mean, is $200 to you at most going to make you not buy the next iPhone?
Yes.
It will.
Okay, so here's the thing. My plan for next year, I want to buy the iPhone 17 Pro because I forgot to tell you, Adam, this weekend, right, I'm on the phone with my dad. I'm like, Dad, wait, hold on. Your iPhone 12's video camera quality looks a lot better.
He has
better.
a 12?
He had a 12 Pro. I was like, hold on, Dad. It looks a lot better than it usually does. Adam, you know what he told me?
What do you say?
Oh, no, this is my new 16 Pro. Oh, what were you going to mention this? Like, we're just buying. So now my phone's not the most recent phone in my family anymore. So now, you know, I got to go buy a new one.
Mike drops wasted to you,
That's
man.
what I'm saying. Like, he just completely skipped that part. And apparently we have a new car now, too. Like, that's what I'm saying, Adam. Like, they just weren't going to tell me anything. However, that's a little bit off topic. My plan next year is to buy the 17 Pro the second it comes out. But I will not do that if I'm paying for a 16 Pro if I'm paying the exact same price as a 16 Pro this year with upgraded storage.
You're not going to get the Pro Max?
Oh, no. My dad has a Pro Max. I think I have decent sized hands, but I like being able to reach everything on my phone. And I don't like using the reachability feature where you have to like swipe down on I forget what it's called, the thing that you swipe up on. Oh Lord, I look like a non-tech lover, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Swipe up on. So I don't like using that reachability feature, and I think the iPhone Pro Max is a little bit too big for me, especially because they got bigger last year.
Oh, I know. That's what I have.
Yeah.
See, for me, I watch content on. I do things on my phone. I'm a pro user, so I like having that screen. That's just, it's $100 more for like a decently sized bigger screen that's OLED. I mean, for OLED prices, that's not an awful amount of money in my head. So that's why I do it, and I'll just continue to do it. I think I like that series iPhone. That's just me. But with all that being said, I plan on giving the 17 Pro Max a course with 1 terabyte, unless there's a 2 terabyte option.
Okay.
Would you think that's going to be in the horizon? And I'll tell you why I think so after you.
I definitely think it's a possibility. Like, I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't know if it's coming next year.
There's not been any confirmed anything or even leaks saying this, but we've heard people say in the past that 2 terabytes is coming to an iPhone. I think it needs to, because here's why. Do you know if you turn on like the 4K 60 frames per second, which
recording,
which now can go to 120 frames per second?
Yeah,
it's a lot of storage. Like, trust me,
that's an understatement.
That's a lot of storage. And taking high-res photos, they used to be like what, 2 megabytes at most for like a typical photo. We're talking about 13 or 14 meg plus for that high fidelity HDR10, everything else that it has to offer, right? The multiple layers to make a wonderful photo that it is. But that's not the point. The point is this: with more storage, you're talking about there's more apps to get. Apps are getting larger, right?
All right.
Updates for apps can be up to 3 or 4 gigs, if not more, right? Movies that you can put in your phone from Apple TV Plus and various other content, right? I mean, there are so many different reasons that there's more storage needed in an iPhone than ever. Is 1 terabyte not enough? I'm not saying that. But if there's 2, why would I not do it? The iPad has it. Would you use 2 terabytes in an iPad or an iPhone more?
That's a good question, because personally, I use my iPad more than any other device, right?
Okay.
That might be weird to some people, but I have an iPad mini, and it's literally my go-to device for everything, except for obviously taking photos and videos. But my thing is, I don't store any photos or videos locally right now, because I have iCloud Plus, and I'm paying for that extra storage, so it all just gets uploaded to the cloud. I think I have the 1 terabyte for iCloud Plus, so I'm not really ever worried about too much storage, but I think I would definitely use more storage on my iPad, because if you look at my iPad, I think I have 256 gigs, because I think that was the highest when
that's all you can get.
Yeah, for the mini. I think that was the highest for the mini at the time. I think it's still the highest for the mini, actually.
It is, yeah.
And I'm using dang near all of it. Like, I think I'm using 230 gigabytes because I just have that many games and stuff on it. Because the iPad mini is honestly my favorite gaming device ever for handheld gaming.
Oh, okay.
Let me preface, it's not like my favorite for console gaming.
Okay.
Because I did see how you looked at me there. But for any mobile games, like let's say I want to play Asphalt 8. I don't want to play it on my tiny iPhone screen. I want this huge screen that I can still hold close to my face like a toddler. You know what I mean?
I understand. And that's a good use case. I mean, they have larger storage in an iPad, right?
Right.
But there's no reason why they couldn't put larger storage in an iPhone and iPad mini. They should do that. So I want to see that because did you know Apple has showed this several times. Filmmakers, like in Hollywood and just various independents, use iPhones to record movies. Like not like a commercial for, Audi, movies that we see in theaters. So you know what that uses,
like
right?
The Weeknd's movie.
All kinds of all kinds of storage. So that needs to be a thing. I think just do it for the people. Like I'm one of those people that use my phone like way too much, probably, right? In the sense of like, well, I use it for like I check email on it. Did you know like Amazon had a report that more people go on iOS, Amazon, and buy stuff than the website?
Oh well, it's just more convenient.
It's more convenient. So like I do a lot of my stuff like recording podcast stuff. If it's, doing research, making invoices for my customers, all this other stuff, right, is done on my iPhone. So I want more storage. I want to be able to put things on there that I can do for various different things. Listen to music, watch movies, watch TV shows, all this other stuff. I do my iPhone. I love my iPad, but let me tell you this. My iPad, even the iPad mini, is not fitting in my pocket. It doesn't right now. Well, my iPad, I have the Pro.
Oh.
It won't fit. I mean, I had to have like the jeans from the 70s, those Janko jeans, whatever they're called, to fit this in my pocket, right? It's not going to work. So, any case, all I have to say, I can't remember where we were at. What point were we at?
Okay, so we were talking about
way off
storage to the iPhone.
Oh yes,
like 2 terabytes. But right before we get back to that, I was looking at it on the website. Apple offers a 512 version of the iPad mini.
Oh.
So I think it might be the year I upgrade. But then again, it's not that big of a difference. The chipset is what, 3 generations faster?
I mean,
it's not going to make the
here's why you should wait, because they need to fix one major issue with it.
See, we're not going to sit here and talk about jellies. The average consumer cannot tell that they're jelly scrolling. You know what I had to do to find out?
But see, but you definitely can though, Kwesi.
Here's what I had to do. I had to take my iPhone, right, put it on the slow-mo mode, record it, and start jiggling my screen back and forth. It's not noticeable to the naked eye. And if it is, it's because you're reading books wrong. Why are we reading books in the vertical form?
I just think, okay, but here's the thing. Here's my graph about it, Kwesi, okay? The original iPad, before this one you have now, right, had that issue. And how many people talked about that and told Apple about this, and they did nothing to fix it? Like, that's my point. It's they knew there was an issue that people did not like. And although maybe it's not the general consumer that's saying that this is an issue, right? Maybe people don't care as much. But there was so much backlash of this issue, and they did nothing. That's my point about it. Like, okay, Bengate, right?
Yeah.
They fixed that. They did, didn't they? They fixed that problem.
I mean, it wasn't that hard to fix. You just make your phone thicker.
Okay, and a screen change is not hard to fix?
I mean,
come on now.
It's definitely not the hardest thing to fix, but like, I feel like the people who are complaining about it were like hardcore tech reviewers, because if I give my mom my iPad and she reads something on it, she's not going to notice the jelly scrolling. First off, because she's not reading at 3,000 words per second, right? Because if you're just scrolling slowly, I actually promise you right now, Adam, you're never going to see it.
I do. I'm a display.
You're not reading that fast.
I'm a display guy, though. I know things like, okay, I'm an OLED fan, right? I know about the HDR. I know what True Black's like for me, I notice that. Now, am I a small percentage of people? Yes. But here's the thing. That is holding me back of getting it. Now, I hope the next Mini is fixed with that. Because if they can do that with every other device, every other device has a screen.
Right.
They can do it for the iPad mini. Like, does that make you kind of scared in a way that they're not putting as much effort into the mini as they should? Because if there was complaints and they didn't fix it, does that scare you a little bit?
I mean, here's the thing, right? With iPads, Apple's always had like this certain way of doing things. And like, if you look at the regular iPad, the base model iPad, it didn't get an update. It was still running that 2011 design until just recently.
The bezels were bad.
Oh my gosh, it was outdated.
I could have had
awful.
I could have had like a Hot Wheels race on the bezel, dude. Like it was bad.
No, it was a huge bezel. But it took Apple because they were running the iPad Air with the updated screen. They were running the iPad Pro with the updated screen, and then even the Mini got the updated screen before the regular iPad got it. So I think sometimes we just need to be patient. Apple will get around to fixing it. I'm not too worried about that. But
I am happy though that the iPad Mini is not something they're going to forget about. They're going to move forward with that because I don't know if you watch FPT, I'm a huge fan of that show, and one thing that John Prosser mentioned several times is his iPad Mini is a fun device. It's for entertainment. He watches TikTok on it, watches content, right?
It's the best for that.
Oh, and I agree. And my iPad Mini, let me tell you, Kwesi, it's the first generation iPad Mini.
Ooh.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you quick story time? Did I tell you the story about my iPad Mini purchase?
Yeah, you told me, but I think
I think we should tell the audience this. Okay, so when I purchased the iPad Mini, first generation, right, with 32 gigs of storage, mind you, not the point, but the point is this: that whole purchase was a kind of a disaster. But so I ordered from Apple, and they have this thing called free engraving. Now, if you don't know what that kind of entails, Apple's only engraver to this day is in China. So even if the product's in the United States and stock at like, I don't know, somewhere, it's not going to be just made here for you to be engraved and just shipped to you. So that's the issue. So what they're going to do is this. They're going to ship it to China. They're going to engrave for free and ship it back to you. And that's fine. Except for the fact, when I got a notification that my iPad is going to be shipped soon, I was excited, if you can imagine, Kwesi. But here's the problem with that. I saw what we call delays. And I was getting, like, I want my iPad now. I don't want it in 8 years. I want it now, right? So when I seen that, I was quite mad. And then I got this notification, and this makes me just sad. FedEx emailed me and said, "We are sorry to inform you that your iPad has lost at sea." I said, "Lost? Was it like abducted by some pirates in the Caribbean? Like, what's going on here?" Right? They told me that the ship that was shipping my iPad Mini like fell over and like lost all cargo. Like, huh? So then I call Apple, like, well, so what are we going to do about this? They said, "Don't worry about it. We got you. We're going to ship you a replacement iPad." Mind you, I had to process one of taking iPad in stock in the United States and bring it to China to get re-engraved. I said, okay, let's do this. Apple then sends me an email 4 days later telling me, "Kwesi, ready for this? The same thing happened again." I'm like, where's Ashton Kutcher? Like, am I getting punked? Like, that's what I thought was happening. But no, but they're being serious, right?
Right.
So I got a call from some type of account manager in Apple. They said, "We are so sorry this is happening. We're going to bypass the ship and actually just have a plane bring it from the United States to China, then back via plane to the United States. They're going to overnight it to you when it comes in with a pre-check at whatever it's going to do to make it here faster," right? But I had hope with this one because I seen that it arrived in like, I think it was Florida or something like that, right? So it actually got past the water this time. So I get a FedEx tracking update that it's out for delivery in the States, Kwesi. And guess what?
States.
I get home. It's a big box on my porch. I'm like, this is an iPad Mini. What's going on here? And, you know, there's times you get packages where they oversize the box to what's inside, right? That's what I thought was going on. I open up. Tell me why, Kwesi. 3 iPads are at my doorstep. So I don't know if there were some scuba divers involved with getting my iPads, right? But I got 3 iPads with my name on the back of them. So me being the person that I am, I had to call Apple and tell them the situation because I couldn't just let them, you know, be out that many iPads. Right. They went above and beyond for me. I had to tell them what's going on. I said, "Hey, I got 3 iPads and I ordered 1. I know why I have 3 because there was actually 3 ordered because there was, you know, issues with shipping. Can I just keep them? Because like this is never happening to anybody. Like, oh no, yeah, the other one's back. It's got my name on it. Can I keep them?" And at that time, I had no convincing power at all, and I shipped the other ones back. But let me tell you, the iPad ever since was dry and well. It was a wonderful device. I love it. I still have to this day. Anyway, that's a long story, but just letting you guys know what happened in my life that time. That can only happen to me.
So, Apple is rumored to be while we're on the topic of iPads, they have this smart home that's supposed to be like an iPad on top of like a let's say a HomePod. That's what it's called. Like sort of like the Google Nest.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we will not be seeing that this year.
I've seen that.
According to Mark Gurman.
Let's see. Here's the thing about Mark Gurman, right? There's times you love him. There's times you absolutely hate his guts because he can be so indecisive that it makes you want to throw a pan at his face, right? And that's for many reasons. But regardless of all that, I think that there's probably a reason behind this, and I think that they're trying to make sure devices that are smart home devices, right? You're talking about cameras, different door locks, lights, all this other stuff had to be compatible with this HomeKit, right? So I think there's a HomeKit pause of why this is not being released. This is my speculation, by the way. There's nothing online anywhere that says this. But I think that if this device is tailored to be your smart home hub for all adjustments and changes and everything, there's probably a reason why it's being delayed, and that's probably it. I can't think it's the actual display and the HomePod, which they perfected at this point, right?
Right. I've got to say, it might be Siri. Because, Apple is trying to, we're overhauling Siri this year, or at least they're rumored to be overhauling Siri this year. Not just in the iPhone, not just in the iPad, not just in our Macs, but it should be coming to the HomePods too. And I think because Siri wasn't ready to be rolled out with Apple Intelligence, I think that might be what's happening here with the HomePod.
Well, Kwesi, let me tell you this. Apple only has one direction to go with Siri, and that's up. They've already hit rock bottom. It's not good like it should be. I can't say, hey, Siri on devices and get them to actually work for like 85% of the time.
So I just watched yours.
Okay. So that's beside the point. The point is this. Like, I can say that phrase, right? And nothing happens when I won't really want it to, but it will pick up, as you just seen, when I don't want it to, in a consistent basis. I'll be talking to somebody on the phone and then talking to someone across the hall from me, and guess what? It picks up that, and it's like trying to text my wife, telling me what I'm talking to them about. And I'm like, okay, you work great when I don't want you to, but when I want you to, you don't.
I think that might be a you problem, because
no.
mine works perfectly.
Perfect?
Like, I don't even have to say, hey, Siri.
Perfect.
I'll be like, Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
See that?
Hold on.
Nothing happened.
It's probably because my AirPod's sitting here. Let me.
Oh, okay. Great example.
Yeah, let's do this again. Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
My iPad. Okay. Well, it's clear that it's not as stable everywhere as it should be.
Well, it works better when I say, hey, Siri. Well,
I say, hey, Siri, to the point. I say it to the point where my eyes start to hurt, okay? And it doesn't. Okay, tell me why. I just want to turn off the lights or turn up and down my Apple TV volume. And I could get my daughter that can't speak fully yet to do it with the remote better than what Siri can just communicate and do that with. And right now, last night, Kwesi, let me tell you this. This is not Siri, it's just in general. The remote for my phone, for Apple TV, I can't turn up or down the Apple TV. I must get the actual remote to do that. It's besides the point. I'm just letting you know. Siri is not all there for me. Not yet anyway. That's why I'm looking forward to the new Siri where the actual animation matches the new Siri. We can both agree that that's going to be really nice once released.
I agree.
Hurry up, Apple. That's all I ask you, please.
All right. Well, on to our next topic for the day. We've talked about Apple for a while here. We're going to continue with Apple. The audience definitely thought I was going somewhere else with that. But the Vision Pro, everybody loves the Vision Pro's operating system.
Yes.
I think maybe we love it a bit too much because it's coming, or it's rumored to be coming here to iOS. Not just iOS, but obviously iPadOS too. What do you think? Because obviously it's being rumored to have the more circular icons and a more classy look. How do you feel about that?
So on the way here this morning, guess what I just realized in my head? What does that icon resemble to you that Apple already has?
Oh,
The AirTag.
okay.
And maybe that's completely irrelevant in the situation, but that's like the best example of how that's supposed to look in my head than anything else. So when I seen in the demo for the Vision Pro, these icons, I liked it. There's one issue with it that I seen was the spacing between the icons, right? They can make that a little better, so you can put wherever you want, all that stuff, right? But in general, I like that design. It was really nice. It's not the square, rounded corner design that we see now. Now, okay, let's get past all the, it's going to happen with people, right? Android's had it for 55 years. It doesn't matter, okay? Android's not stable, and we all know that, okay? I can go on Google Play right now and just get a virus. Can do that with Apple. Let's just get that out there.
I don't know if you go on the Play Store and get a virus, but the thing with Android is you can download a lot from online and have them be actual apps on your thing, and that's harder to do on Apple.
Oh, sideloading, I wish came to iPhone. I know why they don't do it.
Oh, that's not true. Sideloading is definitely, you just don't live in Europe.
Exactly. So it's not here yet in America. Yeah, I mean, in general, yes, but I know why they're not doing it in America. Do you know why, Kwesi?
Because they don't like us.
It's not at all. Who complains the most in every country? Probably Americans, right?
Right.
If there is a situation where I download a siloed app and my phone has an issue, am I going to blame myself for that?
Oh, no. Absolutely not. You're an American.
Why would I? I will blame it. It's Apple's fault, right? Apple sucks. I'm going to throw in the trash. I'm going to hate them online. It's their fault, even though it's mine. Is that good PR for Apple?
Absolutely.
That's why they're not doing it. So are they going to do eventually? Yes, right? And I think that there's going to be, it's going to have to, support will change completely when that happens, right? If you're doing some sideloading. Now, there's probably some things that I want to sideload. I got to be honest with you. But do I have to have for my phone to be what I want it to be? No, it's not something I have to have. It's just a want. Is it a big want? Not even. I want more Siri than I do sideloading.
I feel that.
But anyway, the design. What are your thoughts?
For iOS 19?
For the leaks.
I was watching the Fupata episode last night.
Which is where this came from, by the way.
Yeah. And, maybe I'm just resistant to change. But I don't think I like how circular the icons are getting. Like, I definitely prefer my squares and my rounded corners. And, I don't know. Maybe I just don't like change.
I think for me, where I first heard that circular, I'm like, ugh, it's a little bit, ugh. But they add like a 3D effect to it, like an AirTag.
Yeah.
And that changes it a little bit for me. So I'm like, maybe I can give this a shot. I guess for me, Kwesi, why it does appeal to me a little bit more is because the Vision Pro, I tried it. And when you see it actually happen and see those icons, like imagine like as you're turning, you see those icons like move with you in a little bit, right? That effect and that design works very well. The flat 2D design where it's not going to show, you see a circle, that's it. That's not good.
Right.
But when you put an effect that makes it look 3D, that changes everything, right? And that makes it more appealing, at least to me. I don't know what your thoughts are, but it's just what I think.
Yeah. I definitely like how it's kind of glass-like, but I don't know. I feel like it's going to mess up my grid. But we'll find out more on that on June 9th when WWDC happens.
We're going to have a good episode for Dub. I mean, we're going to try to have one out that night. We'll see. I can't promise anything yet. That's our goal because there's going to be probably an extended long episode that day, and I'm excited for that.
Now, speaking of releases, Nintendo recently had their Direct last week.
Ooh, did you see that?
Did I see it? Oh, did I see it?
Okay.
Yes.
I was just checking, making sure.
Fan of Nintendo. I know, Adam, you have a Steam Deck.
I do.
You're always telling me how your Steam Deck is better than my Switch, and I don't believe you. That's why I haven't bought a Steam Deck yet.
Facts don't care about your feelings, please. It's just a fact.
Okay, but here's the thing, right? The Switch came out in 2017. Came out with an underclock chip. It came out with a 720p, what's it called? Display. And I think that's the highest it got, too. I don't think it went to HD, what you put on the TV. And, you know, it didn't run like, look, I'm a big player of NBA 2K, right? On my Xbox, 2K runs super smooth. Granted, I have an Xbox Series X. Like,
as do I.
If
it.
It didn't run smooth, I'd be kind of upset.
Yes.
But on my Switch, I don't know why I sunk $70 into this game on my Switch. But it runs. It runs.
Was it because of portability? Is that why you bought it on your Switch?
Definitely.
Okay.
Because I could play it in the car.
That's a reason to play it.
And, you know, it was fun for the time being. But, like, I wouldn't play, like, my career on it because the characters, let's be honest, let me level with you real quick. The characters look horrible on the original Switch. But here's the thing. Games from Nintendo, let me tell you about Super Mario Odyssey. Let me tell you, hold on. Let me stop myself right there and get to my favorite game, maybe of all time, Adam. Breath of the Wild, Adam?
I have
Breath
it.
of the Wild was the greatest game ever. I don't know what to tell you.
Kwesi, I had to be honest with you. I have the game. I've never played it yet.
Are you serious?
I'm ashamed of myself.
Adam, let me tell you what you're missing.
I had the OLED Switch, which gives me zero excuse.
Kicks his hand.
Yeah, which gives me no excuse to not enjoy this game. But I'm a huge Mario Kart fan. But let me tell you, I'm a huge fan of more recently on the Switch. Mario Golf.
Mario Golf.
It's becoming like my third favorite game of all time. It's so fun.
Here's the thing, though.
Oh, it's so fun.
You can't play that on your Steam Deck. Or maybe you could.
That's not true at all.
You probably get an emulator.
That's not true at all, yeah.
Here's the thing. It runs natively on the Switch. It looks beautiful on the Switch despite its 720p display. And, you know, you have the OLED Switch, so I think the display is probably a tiny bit better than what I have.
Tiny?
Yeah, tiny.
Revolutionary is what you're trying to use there.
Okay, yeah, okay. But here's the thing. I've been hearing from a lot of people that they don't think this is a good product. What are your thoughts and opinions?
The Switch 2 or Switch?
The Switch 2.
Switch 2. Okay, so here, let's dive into some things. Let's start with the positives, okay? Let's do that. Base storage is 256.
That's a positive?
Yeah.
Xbox's base storage is 1 terabyte.
Hold up a minute. What did the original Switch have?
32.
32? What was that going to do for you? 2 games? 3 games? Okay. Are you satisfied with 3 games on a Switch?
No, but
it doesn't even cover the screen width of game slots. That makes you feel like you're undervalued as a human being. No, that's not good enough. So this new storage option, you know, this is never going to be said for me otherwise. For a Switch is incredible. What to tell you though, that means they're going to bring games that are going to be more high fidelity graphics, HDR, which both Switches support actually. Oh, I take that back here. Yeah, the old Switch does not include HDR, SDR only. Oh my gosh. So anyway, HDR is coming to the new Switch. Huge positive, right? Compared to standard definition, 720p.
Definitely.
And then a 120 hertz screen. Now, that's some positive. Okay, there's 2 more positives. Sorry, 2 more positives. So they also have 2 USB-C ports, one at the top, one at the bottom.
Oh, you don't understand how much. That's because, let me tell you, sometimes I've been playing in tabletop mode. My Switch has that little low battery thing pop up in the top right corner. Hold on, guys. You got to plug the thing in. But now, if I plug it in, I can't play tabletop.
Yep. You must hold, which is not awful, but when you don't want to, you don't want to.
Literally.
So, okay. Now we're getting into probably the last, well, okay, there's two more things that are nice for me. There is a 7.9-inch screen, okay?
6.2.
Which is nice. The dock will support 4K, which is upscale 4K, not native 4K. Let's just say that that's what they're doing. Okay, it's nice. And that's about all that's great about this device.
Really?
Because you know what they're saying?
What?
The RAM is not really increasing at all from base switch. We have no idea if the processor is better, but we know it has to be to play these high-fidelity games. We don't know what it is. They're being very hush-hush about that. And Kwesi, what did the original Switch cost?
It's $299.
We're talking about $450 for a device that doesn't have big hardware changes. The screen's bigger. The Joy-Cons are going to be magnetic. Okay, cool. But did you see this, Kwesi? Did you see that where the Joy-Con plugs into the Switch too? What's an issue there? Did you see that at all?
Some people are saying that it might break easily.
The Joy-Con side is great. Not a problem. Problem is on the actual Switch 2 side, where there's like a cartridge like that you see like an N64 without the case. Take that stupid little cartridge that's sticking out and just stick it out. So you're saying that with mats that detach easily, now if, let's say, the dog walks by and knocks it off, now the rest of that connection point is just going to break. We know that connection point from the ads that they showed is just touching the tips of the contact, okay? Take that cartridge style connection and put it inside the Switch more. That way, it still touches and it doesn't break off. If people that are the ages of like 10 to 15 have this device, right, they're not going to care like we would, right? If that's the case, this might break easily. Not on the Joy-Con side, on the Switch side. It's easy to replace Joy-Con, but replacing a whole Switch? Not good. Okay, Kwesi, as you mentioned, I have an OLED Switch. I like that OLED Switch. We're talking about a decade later almost.
Right.
Why is there not a LCD and an OLED variant?
Well, like from what you saw with the last one, we know that Nintendo's obviously going to break the OLED Switch eventually. Like, it's not out of the cards. We know it's coming.
But why is it not now?
Because it's going to be more than $450.
I'm okay with that.
You might be, but if they released this as an OLED Switch and they were charging $500 from it off the bat, I don't think anyone's going to buy it, to be quite honest with you.
What did the OLED Switch cost in price comparison from the base Switch?
It was $50 to $100 more. Let me fact check myself here.
I think you're correct with that. If that's all cost different for an OLED Switch, the people that want an OLED Switch will pay that price.
Yeah, it was $50 more.
It's not a drastic change in price. So that means they have a supply chain that gives them the advantage to offer an OLED Switch, which they could easily do if what we hear about the specs, it will support it. There's no reason not to do this. They're going to sell more, Kwesi. That's just a selling point. So you're telling me if I have an OLED Switch, I'm going to downgrade my screen to play? Now, mind you, 120 hertz better, yes. I'm not saying remove LCD option. Have that, but do not just have it only. That's a disgrace. This is my opinion. So let's go to another feature that I'm not sure if you watched in the Nintendo Direct. Did you see the game chat feature?
Yeah. So I'm kind of the thing with that is it's kind of like it looks choppy. It looks very choppy.
So 2.4 is more reserved in today's society for gigahertz for Wi-Fi, not frame rate for game chat video, okay?
Is that what the frame rate is?
It looks like it's 2.4 frames per second, doesn't it? It was, why would they even consider to show that in a keynote if it looks garbo?
Well, it doesn't look garbage. It looks choppy. I feel like the overall experience.
Kwesi, I'm going to think that I'm running dial-up speeds because it's so choppy.
Okay, but here's the thing. That's not the main focus. The main focus is that you're having fun with your friends.
I know, but like, if I want to watch what they're doing to make sure they're not cheating Mario Kart, I don't want that. I want to see that. Oh, you didn't cheat. Now I think you have a game engine running. Like, I don't know. It's just me, I guess.
Okay, but here's my thing, right? I know you were hating on my LCD screen, but here's the thing. I don't always play my Switch in tabletop mode. Most of the time, it's in the dock. And this new dock, it has a fan in it, which is supposed to help, because, the Switch has a fan in it.
Yes.
But then now it's getting an extra fan, which will help stop whatever chips inside of it from throttling, meaning I can play my games at a better refresh rate for longer. You know what I mean? Mario Kart World, you know why Mario Kart's only had up to 12 characters before? Because you know how hard it is to individually render each character at a time?
Oh, and it's challenging.
It's a challenge, okay? If we're having 24, that's got to be a huge spec increase.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You brought up this game.
God.
Here's my go about this game. Kwesi, you will have to purchase the new Switch 2 to play the new game.
Correct.
Huh? I mean, you're now saying that if I have any other Switch, throw into the nearest recycle bin to purchase the new one to play this? Are you saying they can't make this game backwards compatible? Make the graphics slightly worse, whatever, because they're using assets from the previous Mario Kart. You're telling me that they can't make this compatible for the original Switch? Are they that insecure about themselves that you're not going to buy it if they don't do this? Like, what's the reason behind that?
Well, I think it's really just a hardware thing. Like, I genuinely don't think the original Switch can support that game.
That's probably true, right? That's probably the reason. But do you think they could not make the game compatible for both?
I mean, they definitely could. It'd be a horrible experience on the Switch. And why would I release something that I know is going to be a bad experience for my consumers and then get bad reviews? You know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't make sense.
That could be it.
But my only issue with the Switch 2 is, I don't know if it's because of the tariffs that we mentioned earlier, but $80 for a digital version of the game?
That was my...
Hold on. $90 for a physical version? I can't do it. I'm not, like...
Now,
it's horrible.
If you recall, Nintendo is the company that put together the $60 price point and $70 price points in the games. And who followed after that? Everybody else.
And then Microsoft, and now you can't buy a game for $20 anymore. Actually, that's not true. You could probably get a really bad game for $20.
Well, they have sales, right? And see, here's what I do. This is a little tip if you didn't know this about Switch. If you purchase games from the eShop, just put it on your wish list, and they will tell you when it's on sale. And that's why I usually buy. I mean, unless it's a game like I really want, like Mario Kart or Mario Golf, whatever it costs, I'm buying it, right? But if it's a game like, I might want to play this or whatever, I'm going to do that. And that is a drastic way to save some money. Now, we'll probably not see these new games like Donkey Kong or Mario Kart reduce at all.
Oh, no, that Donkey
for a while.
It's amazing.
Oh, it does. I mean, I remember playing Mario 64 and I remember playing Donkey Kong 64 on my... dang it, what's it called? N64.
64.
And those were incredible. Like, I want that remastered, by the way. Any case, but yeah, the game prices are ridiculous. And it's going to be a trend. Now, you know what that is? That's base price. So that means
I'm not buying any DLC.
Everybody else comes out with, the premium and then the ultimate editions, that's going to be over $100. Now, people are saying that this price alone is going to dictate GTA 6.
Well, I didn't play GTA 5, so My mom wouldn't let me. And I'm an adult now. I could definitely go play it on my own.
You have never played GTA 5?
No, because I love my mom. So shout out to my mom.
I mean, okay, props that. Okay. Regardless, so I think that everybody is complaining about the prices, and here's what was also. I don't know if they did this on purpose or not, but the price tag of $450 might go up with tariffs.
I'm just not going to buy it if it does.
So what the estimated price of this base Switch, are you ready for this price, Kwesi? $250 more.
I'm not paying $700.
Or just $200. I think it's actually $200. I lied there. $200 more.
I'm
that
paying $650
is over what an Xbox cost.
Okay, but can you take your Xbox everywhere with you? I mean, I guess you could, but like, you can't play it in the car.
So like,
unless your car has TVs.
Those prices, Kwesi, it's Steam Deck prices. That's the OLED Steam Deck price at that exact time right there, okay? Which will do everything the Switch does. And more. Much more.
It runs.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't? The Steam Deck doesn't run Windows?
It can run Windows. No, it's completely, it's Arch, it's what it is. Oh yeah, you can put Windows 11 on it. That supports it, but that's not what it comes with.
Interesting.
But in any case, am I going to buy this? Maybe. But is it like a must?
I mean, if it stays at this $450 price point, I'm definitely gonna look into getting it. Maybe for my siblings for Christmas, but I don't think it's gonna be something I keep in the dorm with me right now, because I can't be the only one on the floor with a new console, because it's bad. The guys will, like, we have a Switch in our dorm right now, and we play a lot of Mario Party. I win a lot of Mario Party is what I should have said. But yeah, no, I'm actually like really good at Mario Party. That's not the point. The point is, I don't want to have this in my dorm right now, because that's how impactful I think it's gonna be. Anyway, I think that's about it.
Yeah. I think next week we have some more content. We have some more ideas for sure. Thank you guys for listening. I know episode 1 was kind of rough, but we're all new at this, so we're making things work as best we can. And I came today with like just making a banger episode. I think we just did that. So please like and subscribe, and we'll keep putting these out for you.
Yep. You guys have a great week. We will see you next Friday. Stay safe.